Aloha friends, Mark here at my photo studio, and today we are going to be looking at the new wave of figures released by the Four Horsemen, part of their fantasy line called Mythic Legions. These guys look absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to punch up some of these images on the screen and talk about them, so won't you please stick around. All right, here we are at the Action Figuratorium. We're going to be looking at this new line of figures from the Four Horsemen. Who are the Four Horsemen? They are legendary toy sculptors in New Jersey. I know it sounds weird. Just let that sink in, that they're East Coast guys, and don't think about the New Jersey part. These are cats on the East Coast who have been making toys a long time, and they are experts at it. They also have a very subtle touch and sense of humor, and pretty much everything they do comes out looking fantastic. Now, if you missed my previous video, I talked about their launching of a new line of science fiction figures called Cosmic Legions. You should go back and watch that. It's pretty exciting. I think they did an excellent job. This comes right on the heels of that in part of their Mythic Legions, their fantasy figures. I've done a few unboxings so far. You can find those on this channel, which hopefully you have subscribed to, if you know what I mean. But today we're going to be looking at these cats right here. This is the latest wave that dropped on Friday, today being the Monday. Okay, so just, you know, a weekend's gone by. We've had a chance to look at these. Now it's time to come together and talk about this sort of fantastic collection of, you know, little mini pieces of art, especially when you think of the big picture, the big context of fantasy figures. This wave is called, I believe it's called POXXUS. And it is named after a sort of plague-carrying villain, POXXUS, who's included with the wave. We're going to take a look at all these guys. So this is the main character, and he's this guy right here. I'm punching up. He's this sort of cool armored green sort of zombie guy with some kind of insect wings. These wings look similar to the ones on the Sphexian aliens in the Cosmic Legions line. So it seems that they're already sort of crossbreeding the parts and using them where they make sense. This is kind of cool because you can't really get these wings on any other fantasy figures to date. So this guy comes in at $45 on their website via the pre-order mechanism, which is available until about the first week of January. After that, you will not be able to find these guys on the Four Horsemen's website. You will have to find them on something like Dorkside Toys or Big Bad Toy Store, but they'll be about 10, 20, 30 bucks more at that point. So you want to get in early with this stuff here, get it cheaper before you have to buy it at the second tier e-tailers. And then if you miss it there, it's going to be on eBay, and it's going to be probably double or triple what you could have just bought it for from the Four Horsemen. And it lets them know when you come in and buy these things early that they have fans who love them and will purchase the wares. So this guy is the head guy in the POXXUS wave. That is POXXUS. He looks amazing. We're going to take a closer look at him over here where we get the little the ability to sort of punch it up. You can see he's got really awesome armor. There's some chain under the plate shoulders. There is this kind of cool leather scale armor for the chest. There is a bunch of soft goods, sort of burlap sack looking material hanging from the belt. Of course, some sort of weird bow, and this beard looks amazing. The sort of weird clear eyeballs is really cool. The face is like a skull that's been split. This is just really super neat and gruesome. My only concern is that it's so gruesome that people may be afraid. They may not want to buy that one. We'll talk about predictions at the end here. So that's the main guy that the wave is based around. Now his counterpart is a character named, let me, hold on, let's make sure we get this name right. This is, let's go to their checklist. All right, so this character here, that I'm going to punch up, this is Hera Serpentspire. This is sort of the nature-wielding, druidic, you know, Mother Nature kind of priestess who's holding this sort of group together who fights the Circle of POXXUS, which is that weird creepy guy we just showed. So this is the good guy. POXXUS is the villain. She has already been released, so she's out in the wild. But this POXXUS is a new fig, and so if you get into the POXXUS wave, you're probably going to get into her wave as well. They're going to complement each other, but we're going to see that even more within this wave, how they have sort of guys opposing one another on the plague side versus the sort of, you know, healthy nature side. Okay, so the next two big figures in the wave, right, coming in at $60 is this dragon guy, Arakagor. It's just a cool, big, giant blue dragonkin sort of figure. Looks really, really well done. The scales, the paint, the gradients on it, the face look really amazing. The armor looks really amazing. That belt looks super cool. It's got this weird kind of harness thing. It looks like a sort of tough gladiator kind of guy. He is actually a good guy. He's on the force of nature, and the guy who is opposed to him on the plague side is this weird demon guy. He's about the same size. He's a big, sort of slightly bigger figure than the 6-inch human guys. These are all still 1/12 scale. This figure looks simply amazing. The paint job on it, the dark green with the light, sort of like it's lava coming out of him, breaking out through, moving the skin. The paint job on the horns looks particularly amazing. The gradient as they go around, the sculpting on the horns looks cool. He's got this really cool looking belt that actually has a skull of POXXUS on it, and these two wings coming down, and it's sort of like the it sort of looks like the pentagram Baphomet head that you see on like heavy metal bands, where like the horns make up two parts of the pentagram star, and then the ears coming down this way make up the lower parts of the pentagram star. And this belt that he's got on sort of replicates that, but replicates it within the Mythic Legions world of POXXUS, and this weird, you know, sort of plague cult that he's got going on. Let's see here, it's a close-up of the head. Look at this. This is pretty fantastic how the horns are done with this sort of neon glow. This guy looks super cool. I would recommend you get some kind of wings for this guy if you can. I don't know if they have any that are the right color. Even the skeletal wings, you can still get like vampire bat wings from Big Bad Toy Stores, or pre-order for about $20. You could then paint them whatever you wanted. That's what I'm going to do. I missed out on getting my Belphegor guy some cool wings, and the demon guys really need that. So these are the two main $60 guys. There's the dragon guy and there's the demon guy. Then in the $47 range, there is this orc, and he is a shaman, and I feel like he's kind of a nod to the World of Warcraft shaman orcs, specifically Thrall, who was he was the sort of orc leader during the vanilla World of Warcraft experience, and also he's in a lot of those RTS, just Warcraft games. I think Warcraft 3 he appears in sort of towards the end. This guy is sort of like that. He's got this figure, I don't know what his articulation is like in terms of movement, but he's got a lot of amazing things on him. He's got like all this soft goods of this fur. He's got this like hanging bones from his beard and things like this. He's got antlers on the back, and he's got this crazy, like really one-of-a-kind looking shoulders with bones on them, and of course his staff looks amazing. This is all pretty wild. Look, you can see on the back here, he's got whatever these shoulders are with this stuff strapped to it, and just a pretty wild character. And yet he's got really simple, you know, sort of feet. He's just got some sort of rags wrapped around his ankles there. I think this guy looks pretty cool. There's a close-up of the head. It's going to be tough to beat something like this. Really commands sort of the screen when you have him on. If you're photographing him with other people, it's going to be a challenge to take the attention away from him. He's one of the good guys, of course, and you know, he's sort of a shaman nature. And then this guy is a genie, and he's got that real kind of cool, you know, sort of Dungeons and Dragons. You know, they had a little bit of that, you know, Prince of Baghdad kind of feel to it once in a while, sort of genies and, you know, sort of Eastern mysticism, things like that. And I think that this guy sort of fits in with that. He looks particularly unique. He's got really unique looking belt and armor, and they're using a lot of soft goods. Of course, he's got this amazing sword. I haven't seen anything like this sword so far. This sort of necklace thing is really detailed and really over the top. It looks like a real necklace you'd find in like grandma's jewelry box. Very, very interesting head sculpt. Very cool hair. The back of this cloth goods here, you can't even see this, but this is like a really cool pattern. It fits perfectly on this figure. I think 47 bucks for this guy is a steal, and this is one of my predictions of guys that will be in high demand, despite the fact that probably quite a few people are going to buy these. I think people are going to see this guy and they're going to try to find him later on. So these two, this guy, the genie, and the orc Thrall wannabe shaman, are in the $47 mark. And then what we're going to head into next is the last four figures. We're going to get two wizards on the good guy side and two wizards on the bad guy side to sort of balance it out. Let's take a look at the good guys first. Here is this guy. I feel like he's a little bit of a nod to the original Dungeons and Dragons 3.75 action figures. He reminds me of one of the wizards in there. This is pretty stock wizard trope, just a long sort of Santa Claus beard, bald head, but with like a cool cloak and staff. And of course, let's take a closer look at this guy. Yeah, there's great detail on the beard. He's carrying a whole bunch of like magic gree-gree bags and a spell book and a little chain and all the kind of thing that you think of a wizard as being a sort of a guy who is sort of a traveling junk shop. Of course, you know, in this world of Mythic Legions, you can be a wizard wielder and have armor. So we see the shot here where underneath the cloak, he's got some sort of, you know, foot guards and armor shins and knees and whatnot. You can see some armor poking out there. So he's got armor on under the cloth, but he really has that kind of, you know, sorcerer, Jedi, wizard look. And we get a cool spell effect on the staff. I think you can get those extra. So that's the first good guy wizard. Here is the second good guy wizard. And this guy is sort of your I don't know, he seems like kind of a sort of a lone wolf type character who is armored up because he's always out there on adventures and he needs a little bit of the extra protection. Now, I personally think that this guy has got a great head sculpt. I really like the idea of having somebody who looks a little bit more like some kind of a Shaft, Isaac Hayes type character in the line. The thing that I don't really like about this is this color scheme. Doesn't really work for me on this guy. The light blue next to the red and the yellow against the bronze armor, which he's got bronze on the shoulders, the hands, and the and his you know, sort of shin gear there, and his boots, and then the dark blue cape. This is a really weird kind of clashing color scheme. I don't really buy this character. I don't really buy what his wizardness is. It looks kind of a weird hybrid sort of guy, and I think it could be solved by just sort of fixing the cape. You could make the cape like, you know, a black or a gray or some sort of multicolored thing. You know, maybe it could be, you know, one color with some another medium color like a black with like gray symbols on it or something. I think this guy would work better if you tried to make him sort of that like mystic Moor or like Middle Eastern Fakar type guy, sort of a, you know, again, getting back to that like Prince of Persia, you know, Thief of Baghdad kind of wizard. I think would have worked a little better for this head sculpt. Not to say that this guy is a lemon by any means. You know, he's definitely got some of the cooler staffs and it's got some cool ideas. I just think that the paint on this particular one is not quite as powerful as it could be given the armor. Also, if you check this guy out, you can see that that he's really sort of plain on his what he's got for accessories on his belt. And the next guy we're going to look at, you're going to see that he's got a ton of cool stuff on his belt, and there's such a big clash between the two. So this is going to be part of my predictions as to what I think is the better sellers. So on the bad guys, the evil side, the POXXUS side for wizards, we have this guy, which is another classic sort of, you know, old man, white beard, bald head, cloaked kind of thing, except he's evil, so it's got a little bit of that, you know, going on. I think this guy is fantastic. It's one of my favorites I've seen so far. The black purple with a little gold, I think is perfect. The sleeves are great. The trim at the bottom is great. The purple hood, the accents here, I think are perfect. I love this really cool sort of dragon spine armor they put on him. This magic crystal, this red crystal, is kind of a clashing color to him, but it's okay. You know, it's not a big deal. I think it would be better if this had been like purple. I think that would work really good. But he's got some extra accoutrements on him here. You can see he's got some little potions he's carrying. On the other side of, oh, there's a little pouch on the back. On the other side of his belt, he has got this sort of bird skull. It's kind of neat. Let's go back and look at these. Look at the shoulders on this thing. That's pretty amazing that they came up with that idea. It's just on a guy. Remember, all these things are sort of, you know, reusable parts for all the characters, so you can get this and put it on someone else, or, you know, maybe we'll see this again on another figure. But I think this guy is really fantastic looking, and close-up of the face, and there's his wizard weapons. And I think this guy is going to be one of their bigger sellers, personally. I think everyone's going to pick this dude up. I think he's the quintessential sort of wizard from all these figures. The other bad guy is this sort of, you know, kind of like evil, I don't want to say elf, but like, you know, sort of sorceress witch woman, but she's kind of a sort of a cute gothy. She's got this sort of steampunk look in a little way, this like leather corset and a cool belt. Normally Mythic Legions have been Four Horsemen putting in these generic belts that you can use with any character and they sort of fit anything. But this looks really kind of customized to her. Again, more cloth, and this particular purple is awesome. You can see that it picks up the light and turns a different color, so it just looks two-tone. It looks like these are two different colors, but it's wherever you put the light is your second color. And it looks like she's got some black on the hood. Really sort of generic staff, but I think that's fine. I think that works for her. She comes with a little magic effect. And I'm not sure what kind of armor she has on under the under all the soft goods. Let's see if there's a shot of her without the hood. Maybe maybe there's one in here. Yeah, here we go, in the store. So she's got this cool kind of hair. She's almost sort of like a female-looking Elric, this all-white albino gothy wizardess. Very cool, very cool. If you look at the back of the cape here, you can see how it really picks up that cool sheen and changes the color to this magenta. So it's kind of like what looks like a Prince video. All right, back to the Four Horsemen site. So those last four figures I showed you come in at the $37 range. That's the cheapest guys they have for this wave. Normally they like to do something also in the $26 range, like a really plain, like a one color kind of generic drone bot sentry kind of guy, maybe kind of a Legion builder. I don't see anything like that. There are some weapon packs in here. There's some spell packs where you get like little cool, you know, spell effects on the arms or the stabs. There's some colors for good guys. There's some colors for the bad guys. I don't think it really makes a difference. I think you should probably just pick up a pack right now, because when you go looking for them later, you are not going to find them. And that is not a prediction, that is a fact. So if we were to look at these guys in terms of which ones we think are going to become more valuable in time, if you're going to buy any of these in terms of an investment, the first rule I always like to apply is the rule of supply and demand, where the one that has the least supply will go for the most amount of money, because there's the least of them. And my belief is always that in the pyramid of product, everyone can afford the bottom of the pyramid. Fewer people can afford the expensive stuff at the top, so therefore fewer of the top expensive dogs are sold. This is just a general cast as to how you would pick sort of winners and losers. And so if you're spending money just to get a figure to put away and hope that it goes up in value, you're going to buy the $60 ones, because there's going to be a lot less of them than the cheaper ones, okay? That's the first thing. Second of all, you're going to also look for ones that you think people are not going to buy because they are quote-unquote lemons. The one that, you know, had the least amount of demand in the first place will have the highest or the lowest amount of supply later. And so if that's the case, you're going to look for ones here that you think not a lot of people are going to buy. Now, I should mention that the POXXUS figure is $45. There's also a horse that you can get that goes with him that looks kind of like him. It's like this weird plague horse. It's got the same kind of cool eyes, rotting flesh. It's got some green. He's $55, so the two of them would be $100, but they've got a special two-pack where you get sort of $10 off, $90. I think that not a lot of people are going to buy the POXXUS, because I think that it is too ugly for the average toy buyer, and only the hardcore collectors are going to get it. And so if you're looking to invest, I would also suggest that you get the two-pack POXXUS with the horse. I think they're going to sell the least amount of those out of any of them, despite the it has nothing to do with it being, you know, good or bad. I think the POXXUS guy looks amazing. I'm just predicting buying trends at this point and what I think people buy, what I think drives the demand, and what will give you the best outcome later, just based off of using supply and demand. So the figures that they're going to sell the most of are going to be the ones that look the coolest. Obviously, the Evil Wizard looks amazingly cool. The Evil Wizard daughter, we'll call her for now, looks amazingly cool. The Genie guy looks particularly awesome. It's definitely one of the top 3 on here. I think that the demon guy looks pretty cool. $60 might not be a problem for most people, but someone might say, hey, I'm going to buy 2 $37 ones, and it's only a few bucks more than getting one $60 one. You sort of get more things for the money that you spend. But the demon guy definitely looks really cool, and I guarantee some people are probably going to buy him based upon how cool looking he is. I don't think a lot of people are going to buy the Orc Shaman, other than the guys who've been buying Orc figures from Mythic Legions all along. And of course, if you bought a bunch of the Orc guys, you're definitely going to get this guy. This is like one of these like really distinct looking World of Warcraft Shaman looking Orcs. Perfect for you know, building your group of loyal Orc warriors, etc. But I don't think that a lot of people buy the Orcs. I could be wrong, and so I don't think a lot of people are going to buy this guy. He would be a good one to possibly pick up and put away for a long time. We're probably not going to see a lot of these guys for sale on eBay and other sites. The 2 good wizards, of course, they're going to crank out a ton of these guys. I think they're probably going to sell the most of the 4 wizards, the good guys and the bad guys. I wouldn't be surprised if people just bought those 4 and nothing else, because I think you're getting, for $37 each, I think you're really getting the most for your money. And right now, what people want, for people who are end consumers, not resellers, end consumers, I think they want the most for their money, and so I think they're going to sell the most of those. They really do look the best for the dough, and I think the resellers are going to buy the higher items and put those away, because I really think those are better investments. There's really going to be fewer of those, and of course things like weapons packs and the spell packs, that's a given. You're definitely going to want to get those as well, whether you're just an end consumer or a guy who's going to resell them later, because like I said, at some point when you go, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had, you know, they won't be around, okay? You're not going to find them. And if you do find them, they're going to be like 1 pack, and it's a lot of money. And, you know, for whatever it is, $12 now, there's, you know, like I say this all the time, I spend that in a morning on like a coffee and some like muffin or something that I don't even really like. I can easily hit 12 bucks. So get one of the magic packs, get both of the magic packs if you can't decide which one. I don't think it really matters. I think having either one of them is a lot of fun. Should you get the weapons pack? I looked at the weapons pack and that stuff, and it looks pretty cool. I'm the sort of person who has a drawer full of weapons, swords, guns, grappling hooks, candelabra, baseball bats, rakes, blow dryers, tennis rackets. Somewhere I have a picture up of Bruce Lee with 2 tennis rackets. I have tons of that stuff. So the weapons packs, to me, I don't really get excited by them, but I could see other people making a big deal about the accessories and the weapons. Again, another reason why I think that the genie guy is going to sell a ton. He's got that really cool sword, really cool looking guy. I think they're going to sell a ton of that guy. Not much of the shaman, ton of the 4 wizards, not much of the bigger toys, and a few of the POXXUSes will trickle out, but not a lot, because he's amazing to look at, but he's super creepy looking dude. And I think somebody who's going to have that person out on their desk looking at them, I think they're going to get freaked out. I think that these guys have hit a home run with him, and he's got to be the freakiest looking guy in the whole planet, and mission accomplished as far as I can tell. And you should definitely go to the Four Horsemen website, which I believe is called Source Horsemen. Go click the link for shop, pick up at least 2 of these guys. You will not be doing yourself any harm. It's a great investment, and if you love to collect figures, and if you love figures that you can photograph that look great, these are your dogs. So I will catch everybody much, much later and on the next one.